Welcome to week one, day one of I'm on the Way Up beginner workout program. I hope you did watch the intro video, which is above this one on week one, day one, that explains the whole entire program and hopefully it answers a few questions that you have. This video is just a daily video that's going to go into some detail about today's workout, what we're doing, what we're trying to accomplish. You're going to have these every day for the first week of every single cycle we do. Some cycles might be 4-week cycles, some weeks might be 8, some might be 12, some might be 16. But this cycle that we're going into now is going to be a cycle called Foundations. And what we're doing is just that. We're trying to build a solid foundation of fitness. You're learning your warm-ups. You are learning muscle activation. You're learning these new movement patterns, right? You're stretching, so you're developing some flexibility. You're developing a little bit of mobility through the movements, some balance. And so we're just establishing the foundation here, even a little bit of cardio. We're going to build up some aerobic capacity here. We're going to burn some fat. We're going to build some muscle. And what we're going to do is try to build a really strong base for you. So on week one, day one, we're going to talk about how this day is laid out. Number one, you've got your warm up. So what you're going to do is you're going to do 2 rounds of the exercises. You've got your PVC band pass-throughs, your air squats, your elbow planks, and then your shoulder gaiters. You're going to start at the top. You're going to go from one movement to the next. You're going to go through each movement, do each movement once, all the way through in a row, and then that's 1 round. Then you're going to go back and do it again. That'll be 2 rounds, all right? So you'll have 2 rounds of that warm-up. As with warm-ups every day, really focus and be intentional on those warm-ups. Don't just breeze through them. They're super important. Do any extra warm-ups that you need to get ready, okay? If you need to do, anything else. First exercise of the whole entire program, we're going to start it off with one of the greatest exercises that you can do is a goblet squat. So you're going to perform 3 sets of 6. What does that mean? You're going to do 6 goblet squats in a row. You're going to repeat that 3 times. I've got a little prescribed rest here. That means you're going to rest 1 to 2 minutes between. So you're going to do 1 to 2 warm-up sets. Those warm-up sets can be anywhere between 3 to 6 reps. You're going to do those warm-up sets, and the reason you're doing those warm-up sets is to get used to the movement, and you're going to find a good weight that you can work with that's going to be challenging for 6 reps. If you need to do more than 1 to 2 warm-up sets, that's totally fine, to try to find a good weight for you to use. But essentially, I want a challenging weight that you can do for 6 reps. Now, it's not an all-out 6 rep maximum. This isn't the heaviest weight that you can do for 6 reps, but something that just feels kind of challenging. On your first set, you might do your 6 and you're like, that was too easy. I felt like I had really great form, really good technique, really good control, and that was just too easy. That's okay. Count that set and go up on the next set. Make your notes, make your journal so that next week you know what weight you should start out with when you get to next week, right? I want you to not push super, super hard on these first couple weeks. Leave 1 to 2 reps in the tank. Keep the reps slow and controlled. Rest 1 to 2 minutes between reps. Really focus on your form. Really focus on your technique. Main number 1 cue, I want you to make sure that you're keeping a nice flat back, okay? You don't want your back rounding, and you don't really want to hyperextend either. So you don't want to round, but you don't want to go in the opposite direction and hyperextend your back either. So you just want to keep a nice flat back angle. So that's something I really want you to focus on. I want you to try to get full depth, which means that your hips are going below your knees, but not everyone's going to be able to do that, and that's okay. I want you to really focus on technique. The depth will come, the weight will come. I want you to feel out these movements, get used to these movements, get used to activating those muscles, okay? Once you finish up with the goblet squats, you'll do 3 sets of 6. You're going to move on to the push-up negatives. Push-up negatives, you're just going to get in the top of push-up position. There's a video listed. You're going to lower yourself down as slow as possible, and then you're going to assist yourself back up to the top and then repeat. You'll do 3 in a row, 3 push-up negatives in a row, and then you'll rest. Okay, I've got some prescribed rest here. You're going to rest 1 to 2 minutes in between sets. I want you to challenge yourself on how slow that you lower yourself, but don't go all out today, right? We're going to save a little bit, leave a little bit in the tank. Chances are you might be sore in the beginning. Your body is going to really see the effects of even doing a small amount, okay? After the push-up negatives, you're going to move on to the ring rows. You're going to do 3 sets of 6. These could be ring rows. These could be stationary rows. I know I do have ring rows in the video, but anything that gets you in that movement. And here's the thing too. if you go to do your ring rows, you can't do rings, you can't find a stationary bar where you can do those rows from, you can always find a machine. You can always find a machine and do rows. As long as you're pulling in a horizontal motion, you're pulling just like you do in a ring row or just like I do in the video, you're fine. Use a weight, find a weight that's tough and difficult for 6 reps, right? And that's the idea. Now, if you're doing ring rows or stationary rows, make sure you angle your body in such a way, watch the video and you angle your body in such a way that 6 reps are going to be challenging. If you're really strong in this area, then maybe you need to elevate your feet up higher, or maybe you need to use a machine. But the thing about it is, find something where you're doing that horizontal pull and 6 reps are challenging. So you're going to do 3 sets of 6. You're going to do 1 or 2 warm-up sets just like you did before. Same thing week 1, so don't push too hard. You're going to rest 1 to 2 minutes between sets, leave 1 to 2 reps in the tank. And then you're done for the day. So you've hit a push with your legs, you've hit a push with your upper body, and now you've hit a pull with your upper body as well. And hopefully, with those goblet squats, it's a little bit of core work. Your negative push-up negatives, that's also a little bit of core work. Of course, goblet squats are legs, but you're working core as well. Your push-up negatives are your chest and your triceps and your shoulders, but you're working your core as well, working with some balance. And then ring rows, same thing. If you're doing rows on the rings or stationary rows, you are working on your core strength there as well. So all 3 of those exercises are going to also work on core strength. So we're not going to do a core exercise for today, but you are going to have a decent amount of core exercises in the program. And then you've got your stretching. You're going to go in your stretching, you're going to do your rounds just like you did in your warm-up. You're going to do 2 rounds of these stretches that are listed. Stretching is super important, and the stretches that I have for you are going to help you to be able to get into the positions you need as we begin to move forward. So this is a foundations cycle. So your goblet squat is going to prepare you to be able to do front squats, to be able to do back squats, to be able to do them more complex exercises later down the road. The push-up negatives, they're going to prep you for being able to do push-ups, dumbbell bench press, barbell bench press. They're going to get you prepped and ready to do those exercises. And then the ring rows, of course, are going to help lead you into being able to do pull-ups, okay? So if the ring rows 3x6 are super easy for you, I don't want you to move on to pull-ups. I want you to pull horizontally. So if you need to add weight, or if you need to get your feet elevated, or if you needed to go on a machine and pull on a machine and set the weight so it's really hard for 6 reps, then do that. But I want to make sure that you're horizontal pulling for today. That is all I have for today's actual workout. So if you have any questions, always feel free to hit up the community, ask those questions in the community on your app, and me or someone else in the community will try to answer those questions for you. But hey, congratulations on getting into day 1, knocking day 1 out, and we will see you back on day 2 of Foundations.